What's up, everybody? Long time no see, but we're going to chop it up about Xavier Cooks today. We're going to talk about his performance in FIBA and where does he fit in his current Wizards rotation going forward this regular season. We're going to talk about that and more next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Again, long time no see. It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. And thank you again for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. So Xavier Cooks, he's in FIBA and he's been balling out a little bit, especially against Japan. So we're going to talk about his performance in FIBA, and we're going to look at how does this translate as far as his place in the rotation going forward with the Washington Wizards this regular season coming up. So let's get into it, Xavier Cooks balling out in FIBA, and we're going to take a quick look at his stat line now. You know, it's been kind of a little uneven against Japan. He did score 24 points, shooting 12 from 20 and 16 rebounds. But if you look at his average from FIBA so far, he's averaging around 9 points a game, averaging around anywhere about 4.4 out of 6 shots out of shot attempts, and around roughly 5.6 rebounds, and let me look at that, and 0.8 assists. So looking at his stat line, have you been impressed with Xavier Cook so far in FIBA? And do you see that? Has there been any improvements in any areas of the game, or is he kind of what he is? You know, he is what he's advertised to be.
I like what I saw against him. I mean, I like what I saw from him in the FIBA games against Japan. Japan came off an upset where they beat Finland with Lauri Markkanen. It's funny because I tweeted that Xavier Cooks is dominating against Japan, and somebody commented on my tweet and said, "Of course he is. He better because it's Japan." Now, Japan is a smaller team. They have Yuta Watanabe. That's the one NBA player they had on there. Of course, Rui's not playing, but I still have respect for Japan because they upset Finland. Japan had another good win too, but Xavier Cooks he's done a good job finishing around the rim. 24 points, 16 boards in that game. He really was dominating. He's dunked on a couple people. He's played above the rim here and there. He has been the beneficiary of Patty Mills is a good point guard in FIBA. Patty Mills is a different player in FIBA. Josh Giddey has done a good job for Australia. They got Dante Exum. So they have a lot of good guards. They got Josh Green from the Mavericks. They have a lot of NBA players on the Australian roster and guys that can get Xavier Cooks a lot of open looks. He basically did what he did in the Summer League, where Xavier Cooks had a double-double in the Summer League, where he's getting a lot of open looks, a lot of open dunks, layups, finishing, rebounding. Nobody questions his motor. Nobody questions his work ethic. I think he's a tough player. He runs the floor. He's just a bit undersized. That's the only thing. He's 6'9", doesn't stretch the floor. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I like what I've liked what I've seen so far from him in FIBA. And then at that point in that game, Wizard of Oz, they came up with an article. They said Cooks has the second highest efficiency rating on the team, only behind international basketball legend Patty Mills. Cook shot an impressive 19 for 29 from the field so far at that point. Now, after that, like you brought up, his numbers did go down. After that game, pulling up the stats right here, he had 1 point against Georgia, and then he had 2 points against Slovenia. So he went from 24 points to 2 points to 1 point and 4 rebounds against Georgia, 2 points and 1 rebound against Slovenia. So looks like his minutes went down, his production went down. He went a little bit down to earth. So the consistency just hasn't been there. But the first 3 games, I like what I saw. But other than that, he just went downhill.
Yeah, like you said, he had a heck of a performance against Japan. But with the decrease in minutes, his performance went down. Now, has he changed anything? I'm gonna say no. To me, he kind of is what he is. He can rebound. He has a high motor. He does have athleticism. He can drive the lane. He can dunk. He's definitely a highlight reel, man. But 3-point shot is non-existent. Getting past certain defenders, he's still not there yet. So he is what he is. I hate to make this comparison, man, but as far as his fit and his production on the Wizards and even with FIBA and the Summer League, You remind me a lot of Anthony Gill, the guy where, he's going to get a lot of that hardworking stats that aren't recorded, hustling, athleticism, like I said, he can drive the lane, he can dunk, but, has he developed a consistent shot? That remains to be seen. And, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but, as far as his fit, we'll see. He looked good. I ain't gonna lie to you, he did look good, but did he really wow you outside of the Japan game? To me, not really. He looks solid. He looks like a solid role guy. He's not a guy that really just jumps out at me as a guy that is going to get significant minutes. But I do like what I see. He has evolved a little bit with Summer League, and especially going against international play. Because I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out. I've been waiting almost 2 weeks just to say this, man. I've been a big critic on FIBA, and I think that, I always talked about protecting your investment. Look, forget all that. I've been watching these FIBA games, man, and this has been some good basketball, man. Forget all that. Forget what I said. Look, Canada. The list goes on. There's some good basketball being played with FIBA, man. And absolutely, throw your best talent out there and represent your country, man. So, like I said before, I had that feeling where it's like, man, as an owner, I want to protect my investment, especially look at injuries. But that's some good basketball, man. I'm trying to tell you, Canada, man, looking nasty. U.S. took a hit, but I do like our squad for the U.S. team, man. So, getting back to Australia and Xavier Cooks, he looks like a good role guy. He does have that motor where he's going to drive the lane, dunk on some people. He's going to hustle. He's going to dive for loose balls. But, as far as significant minutes on the second unit, we'll see, because this is a rebuilding team with young talent. And we're about to talk about it shortly about what his fit truly is. And to me, he looks like a role guy. And it's all good. Look, championship teams need role guys. And I'm not saying a championship team, but you get what I'm saying is that, role guys do have their purpose, man. But he just doesn't jump out at me as that, the guy is going to get significant minutes in a rotation for the Wizards, man. So, the Japan, he was balling out against Japan. You can't sleep on really any of these teams, man, because there's talent in a lot of these teams, man. Like I said, FIBA has just been lit this year, man. Some good quality basketball, man. I'm trying to tell you. And like I said, I've been waiting a minute to say that, man, because I know a lot of people got on me and said, look, man, FIBA ain't that bad. Like I said, I always look at things through the lens of an owner or general manager. And I'll talk a lot about protecting your investment. But, this is some good basketball I'm watching, man. So, Xavier Cooks, he has, he took a step as far as being more consistent in his motor and getting past certain, defenses, man, but he's still got some work to do, especially developing a shot. In this current day and age, you've got to have a consistent jump shot, man. We've been saying that about a lot of people in this roster, man. Going forward, we're going to talk about Denny, a few other people here and there who, they're a jump shot away. And I think that Xavier Cooks, if he can develop a decent, consistent jump shot, man, then we could be cooking a little bit. But till he does that, the jury is still kind of out what his long-term fit is. So we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about what is his fit? Where does he fit in this rotation for a young and rebuilding Washington Wizards squad? But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And I was using it tonight with the Dodgers, man. So the Dodgers got to step it up tonight. Get ready for the NFL season, though, with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Ooh, now's the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and now you can bet on anything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer that you won't want to miss. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. And thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Every day is tomorrow on the show. We're going to chop it up about Kyle Kuzma. Is he a player that could be around for a while, or is he strictly a trade asset? So getting back into it, Xavier Cooks, and we're going to looking at the depth chart at ESPN.com at the 4 position. Obviously, Kyle Kuzma is the starter. They have Denny Avdia backing him up. Now, the jury's still out whether they start Denny or Corey Kispert at the 3, but where it stands right now, I don't see where he would fit, man, because if you look at the 4, you got Kyle Kuzma, Denny Avdia, Danilo Gallinari, Patrick Baldwin Jr. I don't know if I trust Xavier Cooks to play him at the 3, and even then, you got Bilal Coulibaly, he might fit behind Bilal, but to you, where do you fit him in? Where does minutes come from for Xavier Cooks this year?
Yeah, I personally don't see a lot of minutes for him still after this. I still think he has been inconsistent where he came back down to earth after the 24-point game where he had 4 points and then 1 point. He is undersized big. He is about 6'9". A lot of his baskets are manufactured. I hate to say spoon-fed like John Wall said with Marcin Gortat, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, if your buckets are manufactured, as long as you're finishing around the rim. But he's not a lob threat. Can't really shoot the mid-range shot. Doesn't really have a free throw jumper. Doesn't have a three-point shot. Once again, undersized. So against other bigs, he's really more of a center. He's not really a 4. He's more of a center. He's an athletic guy. He's more of like an athletic 5, really. I know in the NBL, he was just an athlete. He just overpowered guys with his athleticism. In the NBL, he was the NBL MVP. But over here, watching the game that we went to against the Rockets, he had bad hands. He was fumbling the ball, dropped a couple passes, struggled to finish around the rim, kind of struggled with his touch as well. And you look at the big man spot, we need bigs. Anthony Gill looks like he's going to go overseas from all the reports that we've seen this summer, and he's still on the depth chart. We just don't have any bigs at all. We could certainly use him, and the Vucevic is going overseas as well. So we don't have any big man depth at all. Mike Muscala is small. Gafford's is small. He's going to be our best big, but he's a small guy compared to, Embiid and Jokic and Vucevic and all the other, Steven Adams, all the other bigs that are just stronger than Gafford. So, I still think we would get dominated if Cooks is out there guarding, some of the best bigs out there in the league, right? Anthony Davis, right now. So, I can see him getting some energy minutes, just kind of being a pest, moving his feet, trying to get some deflections, some steals, running the floor, finishing around the rim, setting the screen, setting a tough screen. I can see him doing that. But at this point, I still don't see him really being a rotational guy. Now, if Gafford gets in foul trouble, and I can see Xavier Cooks kind of holding down the fort, just doing the things that you said that don't show up in the stat sheet, diving on the floor for a loose ball, taking the charge, doing those things, just setting a screen, setting up guys, setting up a screen for Jordan Poole to get open 3. I can see him certainly do things like that for sure. So I can see him getting about, 10 to 12 minutes a game, 12 to 15 minutes. So even though he is playing at a solid level of FIBA, I still don't see him getting, of course, anywhere near like 20 to 30 minutes a game at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see.
And once again, I will say the last thing I'll say, he's a Tommy Shepard signing.
Oh Lord,
Will Dawkins, Michael Winger, and Travis Schlenk. They didn't sign. They didn't. And Tommy gave him a 4-year. It was like a 4-year deal, $6 million. I got to pull it up. So Tommy Shepard has some plans for Xavier Cooks. We don't know if these guys have the same plans that Tommy Shepard had for Xavier Cooks.
Yeah, Tommy had a lot of plans. You got to check that man's cup. I mean, 4-year deal.
And last thing I'll say too, sorry to cut you off. The preseason game we play is against the Australian teams, like the NBL team or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see where his minutes would come from, man. I mean, looking at the depth chart, depends on who to play at the 3. If Denny starts at the 3, then Gallinari is going to be your backup, and he may get minutes behind Gallinari. Because to me, looking at Patrick Baldwin Jr. is this, man. Sweet shot, but he's got to find another area to contribute. Right now, that's my biggest issue with Patrick Baldwin is, he's got a sweet shot, but he's got to be at his size. He's got to be able to rebound. He's got to be able to contribute other ways. If his shot's not dropping, then he's practically non-existent. We saw that in Summer League. When his shot wasn't dropping, that was it. So he's going to get minutes in front of Patrick Baldwin because I definitely think that Patrick Baldwin might be a candidate to go play for Go-Go, and which is nothing wrong with that. He's going to give him some minutes to kind of develop his game and get him where he needs to be. But, if they play Kispert at the 3, you got Denny backing up Kuzma, and then you got Gallinari because you best believe they're going to try to get some value for Gallinari and move him at the deadline. So I just don't see it. Maybe you include him in a deal because then look, maybe a consolidation trade. I don't know. I just don't see the minutes, But the thing is, you can never have enough depth till it's an issue. That's something we said the last 2 years where, we had the good problem having depth till it became an issue. But, with this situation, especially with a young club, man, injuries happen, hold on to him for depth reasons. Like I said, Patrick Baldwin Jr., good prospect. He has, to me, a high ceiling, but a very low floor right now because he has to find other ways to contribute. So, he's going to be on the bench for a while. It is what it is. He's going to have his jumpsuit on, man, for a minute because I just don't see where he's going to get quality minutes. And like I said, his motor, his athleticism, like I said, he can drive the lane. He's dunking on folk. He's got to find other areas to contribute too. He can rebound. He's got a little bit dog to him. But he's got to find other ways to contribute. He's got to develop a shot, man. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, you don't always have to develop a shot. But look, if you look at, and I hate to keep bringing him up, man, because I'm gonna bring up two people, Bilal and Denny. Where what is the prognosis about those two? If they develop a shot, then you're talking about you're cooking. A jump shot, a 3-point shot is key right now in this modern day NBA. Steph Curry changed the whole landscape. 3-point shooting is a premium right now. You got to be able to stretch the floor. Like I said, we said it, this past year, man, where you got guys in the center position hitting threes. So what's the excuse? It's not Patrick Ewing anymore. You got Cat sitting back there hitting threes. MB sitting out there hitting threes. So that's the prognosis of the NBA, man. That is a premium, is shooting. And for him to really find those minutes, whether it's in DC or anywhere else, he's got to develop a shot, man. He's got to find other areas to contribute. So, yeah, I think he's a solid role guy, but significant minutes, I just don't see it yet.
Right. Yeah, Xavier Cooks is listed at 6'8", 185 pounds on Basketball Reference, and then Joel Embiid is listed as 7 feet, 280 pounds. So I'm not saying that anybody's going to stop. We already know nobody's going to stop Joel Embiid. But, we're putting centers out there that are 185 pounds. I got to look up how much Gafford weighs. Gafford's probably, 6'10", 230 if I had to guess. So we're really thin. Muscala's a skinny guy, a lean guy too. Yeah, Gafford's 234. So, we're throwing out centers that, giving up, 20, 30 pounds on other guys. Bam Adebayo, I can look at his height and weight. And, Bam's not the tallest guy in the world, but, we're going to struggle against a lot of bigs coming up. Bam's 255. So Bam's got 60 to 70 pounds on Xavier Cooks. And Xavier Cooks, I hate to take it away from him, but Japan, yes, they are a smaller team. Once again, Japan, they play hard. They beat Finland with Lauri Markkanen, and they upset another team too. But yes, we do have to be honest with the level of competition that he was playing against, that he had that 24-point and 16 rebound game. So, but no, I'm rooting for Xavier Cooks. You brought up a bunch of good points, but I could see him getting a little bit of playing time only because we're just so thin at the 5 spot. And there may be some times where West is just forced to play Kuz at the 5, Denny at the 5, or even Gallo at the 5 if Gafford gets in foul trouble, if he gets injured, if he gets injured, knocked on wood. So, we'll see. But I'm rooting for Xavier Cooks, and we'll see if he can crack the rotation and give us some energy and hustle minutes.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm rooting for brother, man. I definitely want him to have successful careers. Just as far as his fit with the Washington Wizards, the jury's still out. So we'll see. Is he a role player? And, definitely let us know down below, comment section. Let us know what you guys think. Does he deserve significant minutes with second team, or what do you guys think? So we're going to go ahead and call it there. Again, appreciate you guys. It's been a minute. It's off season, man. So, we definitely is a dog days of the off season. But, man, look, season coming up. Next month, man, you're looking at training camp and you're looking at the beginning of the regular season. So definitely excited for that. So definitely thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. Every day is tomorrow. We're going to talk about Kyle Kuzma. And is Kyle Kuzma an asset to stay here long term, or is he strictly just a trade asset? So definitely tune in for that. So hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys later. Take care.